Look, Linnaeus, it's simple. The organism is either an animal or a plant. If it's an animal, it can be either red-blooded or not blooded at all. After breaking that part down, the animals are grouped by habitats and morphology.
I know that you're supposed to be the father of science and everything, but you have to consider that your system is distinct, separate, and unchanging. Since Darwin's theory of evolution, your system just doesn't really seem to fit in anymore.
What's up, detective? Let's go.
The lady called and said something attacked the cow. As she was walking to the farm, she found this.
It looks like a skinny cow.
Possibly a short horse.
Crazy as it may sound, it's neither. No one's ever seen anything like it.
No kidding.
How did it die?
Can't tell. We think that this is what attacked the cow, but we don't know how it died. It doesn't have any bruises or scars or open wounds. The cause must be natural causes.
Or possibly poisoning.
Like I said, we just don't know.
Alright, I believe we just need to get back and question the farmer and see what she has to say about this.
Yeah, let's go find out what she has to say right now.
I heard this weird noise last night, and when I looked out the window, I saw this thing attacking my cow. By the time I got to it, it was dead. It had these weird bite marks and claw marks all over it, and by the time I was in here to call the police, this thing came running by. And when I went out to my barn this morning, the thing was laying in my barn.
Interesting. Well, thank you for your cooperation, ma'am. When we're done here getting all the evidence and such, you're free to go back inside and get yourself some rest. I'm sure you're incredibly shocked.
But wait, that's not all. When I got there to look at my cow, there was white stuff around the wound. And when I got up there and looked at the animal, when I found it in my barn, there was white stuff on its mouth. I mean, I'm no vet, but I think there's something wrong there, and it had to be poisonous.
That's very interesting, ma'am. I'm going to go ahead and say that you can go inside and get your rest, and we'll let you know as soon as we hear anything.
Okay.
So what do you think, man?
We've got to figure out what this thing is.
Let's get on it.
Alright guys, we need to get as much evidence as possible.
Hey, do not forget the cow. We need a swab of every wound and every bit of foam around the area.
It better be done in 15 minutes, or else.
We have to get out as soon as possible. We don't want to disturb the farmer any longer. Okay, Aristotle, now we're going to begin the 6 kingdoms, the level down from domain. We're going to begin with archaebacteria. They're prokaryote, unicellular, autotrophic, and heterotrophic, and they have no peptidoglycan in their cell wall. However, we're going to go ahead and mark them out because our organism is obviously multicellular. Okay, now we're going to continue with eubacteria. They're prokaryotes, unicellular, auto and heterotrophic once again, and their cell wall does have peptidoglycan. But we're going to mark them out also because our organism is multicellular. Next, we have protista. They're eukaryotes. They're both unicellular and multicellular. They can be both auto and heterotrophic, and cellulose in some in their cell wall. This is the junk group. If an organism does not fit in one, they're going to fit in this one. So we're just going to skip this because we're not exactly sure where the organism fits. Next we have fungi. They're eukaryotes, most multicellular but some unicellular. They're heterotrophic and their cell wall has chitin. Okay. Next we have plantae. They're eukaryotes, multicellular and autotrophic with cellulose in the cell wall. But our organism consumed another organism, so it's not that. It's not autotrophic. Next we have Animalia. It's eukaryotes, multicellular, heterotrophic, and has no cell wall. This most likely fits our category, but we're going to need more information to determine.
You just got weird.
cell wall.
No cell wall. Whoa. It's Animalia.
So we figured out the domain, which is eukarya, and the kingdom, which is Animalia. Now we have to find the phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. We're going to find the phylum, class, order, and family by using a dichotomous key, which is a key of identification of organisms using choices or questions about characteristics. We're going to start with number 1. Does it have a backbone? It does have a backbone. So its phylum is Chordata. And we're going to move to number 3. Does it have gills or scales? No. So we're going to move to number 4. Does it lay eggs? Nope. So its class is Mammalia. And we're going to move to number 10. Is it a carnivore? It is a carnivore because cow is meat. So its order is Carnivora. And we move to number 13. Did it have a long tongue? Yes, it did have a long tongue. So its family is Candida. Okay, now I want to find genus by using a cladogram, which is a diagram that shows relation among organisms. This is the chart that starts the cladogram. We're going to start with the dog. Well, if it does have this characteristic, you put 1. If it doesn't, you put 0. Is a dog a carnivore? Yes. Is it wild? No. Is it venomous? Hope not. Is it force height? And does it still have its tail? It does, so it doesn't have tail loss. Now for wolf. It is a carnivore. It is wild. It's not venomous. It's not horse height. And it doesn't have tail loss. But for this thing that we're looking at, it has all of these characteristics. And so this is the chart that helps me fill in this cladogram. Okay, so we start with this section. Whichever one has the least amount of 1s or the most amount of 0s goes in this first block, and that is the dog, which is A. And it only has a characteristic of number 1. So we put number 1 down here. Next we have the one that has the second to the most 0s, or the second to the least 1s, which is wolf, and it's B. And it has, other than number 1, it has characteristics of number 2. But this thing, which is C, has all 1s, and it has developed the characteristics of 3, 4, and 5. And that's how you do the cladogram. And it's most related to the wolf, as you can tell from the cladogram right here. So it goes under the genus Canis. Now we get to make up the name of it since it hasn't come yet. You want to name it?
Of course. I would love that opportunity. Alright, I'm going to use binomial nomenclature to name this organism as Canis dirus,
Which means?
the dire wolf.
That sounds like a good name. Now we just have to figure out how it died. Take the button. We figured out that it's a dire wolf. We came up with a new species.
Well, the thing dead anyway, so what's the matter?
It's recording. Oh gosh.
Well, make sure you put that there. Just cut me right in there.